With us, she'll be discussing the 5 A's to better manage stress. And our number is 615-292-6366 if you have a question for Hope. And if it's easier for you, of course, to submit that question via email, you can do that at tim@radionemo.com. Hope, good morning to you.
Good morning. I am just trucking along, excited to be on this morning.
And, of course, we're always excited to have you on this morning, Hope, as we always are, I should say. And one of the things about stress, if you don't know how to manage it, it can be a killer, can it?
It sure can. And, you know, I talk to drivers and even just talk to family members, even in my own life. It always feels like a lot of the ailments and the things people are, I guess, even complaining about oftentimes feel like they tie back to stress. And whether it's mental stress, whether it's social stress, relationship stress, financial stress, a lot of it always seems to tie back to, I'm just stressed out. I'm stressed out. Well, I don't know about you, Tim, but being stressed out all the time stresses me out.
It's making me stressed just listening to being stressed out all the time. It's wearing me out right now.
Amen. And like many things, I love to read, and I like to follow a couple blogs and podcasts. And I came across a while back this concept of the 5 A's to manage stress, because I'm always looking for different ways to approach different ailments and health issues in life, because everyone hears things differently and interprets things differently. And I've been having a couple conversations. I've been at quite a few truck shows this summer, and stress continually is a topic of conversation, especially around a job, because you and I both know trucking is incredibly stressful, from the load to the traffic to just managing the lifestyle. It can be really, really stressful. So I thought, what a great topic for today.
Yeah, absolutely. It is a wonderful topic because you were mentioning about, you know, some people are just stressed out. They say I'm constantly stressed. And I love to observe people. I've always been that way. And even when I'm driving, if I'm at a stoplight or someone passes me, or I'll look over at them, and you can even tell by their face sometimes when just someone who is driving a vehicle, you're sitting beside them at a stoplight, and you can look at their face sometimes and tell that this person is stressed out, or it looks like they're stressed out by just the way that they're looking and the way that they're holding onto the wheel. And then when they take off, they just floor it, you know, straight to the next stoplight. But it can be, and I mentioned earlier, it can be a killer, but it can bring on all types of, you know, stress. You know, it can bring on all types of diseases, stress-related diseases as well.
Absolutely. And I always like to see what are the new trends and statistics and what's going on in our world, especially around health issues. And I was looking up stress because we were talking today just to see what some of the new stats were. And 43% of adults suffer adverse health effects from stress, but it's still up at 90%. 90% of people that go to the doctor have stress-related ailments and complaints. That means the stuff that they're going to the doctor for is related to the amount of stress that they have in their everyday life. And I feel like that part of our health is figure-outable. That part of our health is really manageable, but many of us are not managing it. And I am by no means perfect with this. I feel like I ebb and flow, Tim, where it's like I'm on track, and then, you know, I kind of feel like maybe things are piled on, and I notice that. I notice me. I'm more agitated. I'm maybe a little bit more short. My sleep is maybe off. And I'm like, okay, I got to get back on track again. But it can feel overwhelming because for some of us, what does back on track look like? What does that mean? And I feel like the 5 A's is a really easy thing to remember when it comes to stress and for how it is that we can manage it. And so for the first A, so we're going to go through these A's. The first A is avoid. And some types of stress are unavoidable. and this may be obvious for some of us listening today, but what are the things that are stressing us out in our lives that we can just avoid? That it's kind of like, all right, it's time to stop putting myself in this position. It's not healthy. It's not helping. This person, every time I'm around them, is not making me feel good, and I have control over this. It's time for me to start avoiding this type of experience. Or maybe every time I'm on my phone, I really notice that after X amount of minutes, I start to get angry because I'm looking at everyone else's life or whatever it is. So many of us, some of the things that are stressing us out, making us upset, frustrating us, annoying us, is our own doing. And so that avoid one, it is a little obvious, but it's a great place to start. And just today, just take inventory. Just observe yourself. What am I doing that I should probably stop doing?
A good place to start. And as you mentioned, all of us have some type of stress. None of us are immune to it, but it's all about how you handle, how you manage the stress. And as you just mentioned, think about, what you're doing, what you can eliminate. And I have friends that I talk to from time to time, and they're each one of them, in this little group, and they'll call me, Tim, I need something. I need a word of comfort or something because I'm just stressed out. I'm pulling my hair out. Well, why are you pulling your hair out? What are you stressed about? But some of the things you can eliminate it, right? Just like you were just mentioning.
Yeah, and sometimes that elimination of things comes with better prioritizing, like prioritizing our time, prioritizing our relationships, prioritizing what we put in our bodies. And it is hard because that prioritizing also requires a little self-control. And sometimes we don't want to do those things. And I always try to tell my kids, well, sometimes in life, if you do the things you don't want to do right away, you're going to get to do the things you really want to do for a much longer time within your life. And so that's avoid. And the next A, so we have A for avoid. The next A we have is alter. And alter is all about you trying to manage and look at what it is you have in your daily routine and go, okay, I need to do this, but maybe there's a different way. Like, look at my schedule. Is there a way for me to adjust things, move things around? Is there a way for me to change how I'm having some of the conversations? Like, I have to talk to my sister, or I have to talk to my boss or my broker. Is there a way for me to alter how I'm approaching this conversation? And I know for some people that's hard, right? Because we don't want to be the one that bends. We don't want to be the one that has to do the thing in order to make the thing go away. But when we just alter a little bit of how we're approaching a situation, maybe we're going to postpone something because if we go there, we're going to fly off the handle, or maybe we have to express how we're feeling to somebody, which is not always fun. Things like I statements that's what I've learned, Tim, is using I statements and state can really help a situation be less stressful.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It makes a difference. We're going to pull over and take us a break, and we'll be right back. And again, our number is 615-292-6366. Hope Zarara of Mother Trucker Yoga is with us, and we're discussing the 5 A's to better manage stress. We can all use that. This is Tim Ridley on SiriusXM. Hope Zavara is with us, the 5 A's of managing stress. Hope, I do have an email for you, and he says, thank you for having this topic. I don't let stress get to me. I generally let things roll right off my back as a duck let water roll off its back. So that's one way of handling it, isn't it?
It is. And when you're one of the lucky ones that has that type of personality and approach to life, man, I would say keep on trucking, because that is a great approach to so many of the things that we're surrounded with. But for some of us, we maybe have some baggage. Maybe we've been through some stuff in life that has not given us those skill sets. That's one thing for me, Tim, is like I wasn't really given skill sets on like, okay, what is stress? How to manage stress? I'm trying to do that a little differently with my kids, and really trying to be more aware of what stress is and how it is I manage it, because that really is a skill set. Wow, it is not something that we just naturally are able to do. And so kudos to who wrote in. You either had somebody that is resilient in that way, and I think that's fantastic. But for the rest of us that feel like, man, life just stresses us out sometimes. We talked about avoid, but sometimes things aren't avoidable. We want to try to alter them, but when we can't alter them, when it's hard to alter parts of our life or the way we approach things or our mindset, we want to think about adapting. And this one, Tim, I feel like the older we get as adults is hard, because that means we're bending a little bit. That means our way maybe isn't the highway. And that can be a little bit of a shot to our ego. That can be a little frustrating, maybe a little disappointing. But when we adapt, there's some stats that people that adapt live longer, are happier, healthier, more social, sleep better. And so adaptability, this does not mean that you're bending to everyone's every whim, but it's another way for us to look at things that are stressing us out and try to keep calm and really say, how big of a deal is this? And there's a process that I follow that's called the 5-5-5 rule. And the 5-5-5 rule is where we have to ask ourselves before we become stressed, like we see it happening, like we kind of know ourselves a little bit now, and we wait for 5 minutes, where the old me, Tim, I was like a ticking time bomb. 5 minutes felt like an eternity. I couldn't wait. Things were stressing me out. But we're going to wait 5 minutes and then ask ourselves during that 5 minutes, will this matter 5 years in the future? And if it doesn't matter 5 years in the future, don't waste another 5 minutes.
Yeah, I love it. That is, and repeat that again for some who may not have quite, they may not.
Absolutely. So this is the 5-5-5 rule. Write it on your windshield, put it on a Post-it note, tape it to your forehead, whatever you need to do so other people can learn about it too. So before you become stressed, like you see the situation unfolding, okay? Like you kind of know, you just feel it like, oh gosh, here we go. You're going to wait 5 minutes. Like at one point in my life, I had to set an alarm because it was giving me so much anxiety. Like, okay, Hope, just 5 minutes. So you're going to wait 5 minutes. And during that 5 minutes, ask yourself, will this matter in 5 years? And if the answer is no, don't waste another 5 minutes of your life on it. Mm-hmm. So 5-5-5 rule.
Yeah, that's a very good rule right there. And especially because some people, Hope, are just more susceptible to letting things get to them or letting things stress them out. And I think this right here will really give them a new perspective on things.
Absolutely care about other people. And sometimes I might care a little bit too much, maybe even more than I care about what's going on in my own life. And that can help you step back. That can help you detach, because we can't make healthy decisions for anything, for our health, finances, relationships, family, when we're so deep in something, when we're consumed by something or someone. And the 5-5-5 rule, I started using it, a couple months ago. I came across it and I was like, this is such a great practice. It's simple, it's in the moment, and it gives us perspective, which sometimes we all need in order to not put our foot in our mouth or do something that we might regret. And so we've talked about the avoid, we've talked about alter, we've talked about adapt. We have 2 more A's. The next one is to accept that this is not something that we can change, that this is the situation. This is life. My mother-in-law says it is what it is. And as much as I'm like, oh, here we go with that statement again, it is kind of true. Some things in life are just out of our power. And so when we're trying to accept things, I'm in recovery. And so, accept the things you cannot change and the wisdom to know the difference. Like, what is it in my life that is out of my control? And complaining about it is actually stressing me out more. Like, I may not like the route I have to drive, or my broker, or my neighbor, or my boss, or whatever it is. But quite frankly, every single time you speak about it, you're actually making yourself more frustrated. Like, if the conversations around that are not positive, it might be time to accept that this is not something that you can change. Know the things that you can control and have power over, and maybe start to look for new opportunities, whether it's new opportunities to reduce stress in your life or new opportunities in general to eliminate that stress. But when we start to accept certain things in our lives, it also opens doorways to make new change. That's the beauty of acceptance.
Absolutely right. That is so true. So true.
All right, we got one more A. The last A is get active. You thought I was going to leave you hanging with no type of activity conversation today, Tim. That's active, right. Because serotonin, oxytocin, dopamine, neurotransmitters are firing, and you need that in order for your brain to fire maximally. And so when you're stressed out, get moving. Go for a walk. Do jumping jacks. March in place. Do bicep curls with water bottles, whatever it is, dance, meditate, but just get your body moving. And so much of the unhappiness that people are feeling in our society today, the depression, the anxiety, the stress, I have to always wonder how much of that is tied to our inactivity. We are more sedentary than ever in life. And it just so happens we are also on more antidepressants and narcotics than we ever were before for mental health issues. And so if anything you heard today is the day to get up and move your body. Today is the day to get up and breathe and stretch your legs. Today is the day for you to start getting active, because all of a sudden there'll come a day where you want to and you won't be able to. And so these are the 5 A's to help manage stress. I'm not saying you do them all, but maybe there's one of them that really sticks out to you. Try it out. Try it out for more than a few minutes, for more than a few hours, maybe more than a few days, and see if you can start to adjust and manage the stress that comes into your life, because not only are you going to be a happier person, the people around you are going to be happy and thankful too.
Absolutely. Want to get this one last email in before we part the airways, Hope, and I think you. I want to make sure that you get this. Reason being is because he says, "Thank you so much for this topic. You have really helped me, as you always do." He says he's going through a lot of things, personal things at home, also some health issues. And what you just said has really helped me manage my stress, learn to manage my stress better, because I'm one that's always stressed out because of things that are going on. So I wanted to make sure that I got that to you before we parted the airways, Hope. You're helping a lot of people.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And keep on trucking, keep on moving, keep on breathing. And remember, we don't need to fix it all in a day. We don't even need to fix it all in a year. But just focus on one step at a time. And before you know it, you're going to be a new version of yourself, or better yet, the old version, but an enhanced one, happier, healthier, and less stressed.
Absolutely. Well, Hope, we certainly appreciate you, and thank you so much for all you do. And the 5 A's, you have helped a lot of people out there, including us right here in the studios. So thanks for all you do.
Thank you so much, and drive safe, everybody.
All right. You take care now. We look forward to talking to you later. Oh, Hope, are you still there? I forgot to get Hope's information out. I was so impressed with the 5 A's, but Hope, you can just Google Hope Zavara. As a matter of fact, you can go to hopezavara.com, hopezavara.com. You can get more information on her and watch her YouTube videos and see what she has to offer. And again, Hope, thank you so much for all you do.